Welcome to Contemporary Retirement. Contemporary Retirement is a public interest program focused on the retirement community. Every program has segments on legal, financial, and health issues affecting the retirement community. Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a major grant from the Family Heritage Trust Company.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored by Family Heritage Trust Company. The Family Heritage Trust Company is an independent bank chartered trust company established by local professionals to provide fiduciary services including fee-based investment advice, trust services, retirement planning, and tax planning. The Family Heritage Trust Company is committed to client service in our communities. For more information, call the Family Heritage Trust Company at 301-631-5900.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a grant from R. Thomas Murphy & Associates, P.C. R. Thomas Murphy & Associates is one of Franklin County's leading law firms, emphasizing estate, trust, elder law, and medical assistance planning.
Welcome to the Is It Legal feature on Contemporary Retirement. Is It Legal focuses on the legal issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Tom Murphy from the R. Thomas Murphy Law Firm with offices in Waynesboro, Chambersburg, and McConnellsburg. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Good morning.
Tom, every once in a while I think it's important to mention why would two lawyers that are, one of our offices is only about 7 miles apart, really not be competitors at all?
Well, the rules from state to state are so different and complex that it just doesn't pay, and it's almost impossible to mesh all that knowledge on multiple states. So it's better to send it to an expert in that particular state than try to mess it up.
Yeah, and in fact, the rules, for single and spousal cases in Pennsylvania and Maryland are totally different. They're similar, but they're really different. And if you attempted to do the same strategy in either state, you would have a problem.
No doubt, and we just get so busy dealing with the folks in our jurisdictions. It just doesn't pay to do something like that. But you need the specialized knowledge for that particular jurisdiction.
And then you further compound it. We practice in 6 counties regularly, and all 6 counties do it different.
Oh yeah, each caseworker has their own interpretation of the rules, and in Pennsylvania they send applications to different geographical areas, so it's a mess, and you really need to know the nuances.
Which also means is that this stuff that people read on the internet, first of all, it's not date stamped. So there's stuff that's on there that might have been valid years ago, but is not valid today. And if you engage in that same strategy today, you'll have a train wreck on your hands.
Yeah, that's the problem. And we frequently have to fix things for people who, they show me the printout and the numbers are wrong and the techniques are wrong and the dates are wrong, and it's hard to impress that upon folks.
And you look at this stuff and people trying to save money in this environment, which we don't fault people for doing that.
Yeah.
But the problem is you're staring into the crosshairs of a $10,000 a month nursing home bill. The consequences of being wrong can be tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we see people take insane risks at that day every day in the name of trying to save a few $100 consultation fee to see if it makes any sense.
Well, worse yet, they listen to the neighbor across the fence, or they heard something at the, wherever they might be, and it's completely wrong, or the facts are different, and that's really the critical part of this stuff.
And one of the things that we do is in fact, we talk to clients about opportunities. There are certain aspects that the Pennsylvania rules are more favorable, and because of our practice area, having Maryland and Pennsylvania very close, you might recommend a person consider a Pennsylvania facility if it's all even. And there are other circumstances where the Maryland rules are more favorable.
No doubt, and when we're evaluating facts, we'll say, well, you ought to be looking at a Hagerstown or whatever jurisdiction because it's better for you, it's closer perhaps than what's available. So all that goes into the decision.
Yeah, because Pennsylvania is a little bit better on retirement assets than Maryland, but Maryland's a little better on non-retirement assets. So these are things you just have to look at.
Exactly, and everybody's assets and incomes are different. So again, it's a puzzle that needs to be put together.
And then, there's a detriment and a benefit to living in, in this proximity of, this narrow Maryland state across the entire southern Pennsylvania border that many times people are physically in a position to proximately consider an alternative.
Absolutely, and that's the beauty of where we live, and so we want to make sure people are aware of their opportunities and their risks.
And one of the challenges that we have because of these multi-jurisdictions is that 25 years ago, when we got pioneered in this business, the Pennsylvania power of attorney worked pretty well in Maryland. The Maryland worked pretty well in Pennsylvania, but that's clearly not the case today.
Oh, absolutely. It's gotten so complex and so specific that you need to have the right documents for the right jurisdictions, or both, depending on, if you're going back and forth frequently.
Well, and oftentimes, people don't like this, but we have snowbirds. We'll have a power of attorney in Florida, a power of attorney in Maryland, or vice versa. Or you have that cabin in Pennsylvania, the Maryland house, or vice versa. And in reality, you need to have a power of attorney in both states, because real estate is the #1 nightmare in trying to deal with the power of attorney.
Yep, and you do not want to have a defective power of attorney that's going to then potentially mess up title to your valuable real estate, and it's very simple and easy to put in place.
And the reason for this is these financial institutions refuse to accept powers of attorney. So both the Pennsylvania lawyers at a different time than the Maryland lawyers went to the legislature and got a document that says these people have to take these things, but they don't match.
Right, exactly. Two different things, and so you need to have the most current, up-to-date, powerful document available to you.
And we look at people in Maryland and say it's real simple. If you have a pre-2010 power of attorney, it needs to be redone, period. Even mine need to be redone because it doesn't comply.
Exactly, and we have valid documents in Pennsylvania, but they keep adding and changing. So you want to have the most current document, so whatever facility, institution you're looking at and talking to, recognize that language.
Tom, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on the program.
You're welcome.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Few things in life are as important as family. Leave your insurance orders to us. Write Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
Every life that meets its end leaves a heart for love to mend. Sister, brother, family, friends are left to carry on. When the loss seems more than you can bear, it's nice to know that we'll be there at Double Save Fiery Funeral Home. We care.
Call Ed Lowe to help put your mind at ease.
Welcome to special guest feature on Contemporary Retirement. This segment focuses on various issues which are of importance to the retirement community. With me today is Matt Hurley from Matt Hurley Auctions. Welcome to the show, Matt.
Hi, Mike.
Rule number 1.
Don't throw it away.
Don't throw anything away. So we have a chest here that we wanted to illustrate on this. We'll have cameraman Clint coming down on this chest. And this is the chest that all of these materials came out of that we're looking at right now.
And Mike, I was so excited when we found this. I had to bring them all because I just couldn't contain myself.
Well, and I know that you recently told me a story that you went into a house, a guy had already cleaned out like 16 bags of stuff, and you
16 trailer loads.
And you wanted to look at the trash.
And I pulled out thousands of dollars. Trash bags sitting on the floor going to the dump. Right. I pulled out thousands of dollars.
All right, so this box had a whole bunch of old toys, and so we're just going to pull a couple of them out. So now, what the heck?
These are wind-up mechanical toys, and these are 100 years old or more. Some of these were over 100 years old, so just amazing. A wind-up chicken. These are just little pool toys, but you can see how fragile. I mean, they're very thin, but they've been preserved in near perfect condition.
And so what?
Stuff we just don't see.
So what might some of this be worth?
Well, Mike, this chest had thousands of dollars worth of things. Some of these will bring hundreds, $300, $400, $500 a piece.
And so this is really quite a
that's a good
piece.
one. And not only is it's tin, but also the fabric. I mean, this was stored in an attic for 100 years, and it made it.
And this gentleman is riding a pig.
He's riding it. It's a wind-up pig, and that should bring, hundreds of dollars.
Wow. Then we have some more tin toys here. Now, what is this?
This one's just, Mike, you just turn it upside down, and they ride down, and so they ride up and down, and it's just a toy that children would have played with as they flip it over, and it still works. 100 years and still working.
Wow.
And so it just works its way down.
Cool. All right. So then what is this, gentleman?
Just a toy ship. But Mike, this is my favorite. As you turn the handle, the blacksmith pounds his hammer goes up and down, and you just don't see this stuff. It's just, I mean, it just doesn't make it. Kids play with it, they break it, and it just doesn't make it. It has all the original paint, and so again, hundreds of dollars.
In fact, that's one of those ones, don't fix it.
Don't fix it. And like, these are wind-up toys. Don't ever wind them. So just take my word, they work. And so a ship, we have the man pushing his wagon, the clown on a cart, the man playing his instrument. I mean, they just don't exist. And to find this many in one trunk, these are the things. The one we just talked about where he threw it away, I went out in his trash pile and I was pulling toys like this out of the trash pile.
Wow.
Because he just didn't know. He thought they're old, they're junk, and I can't imagine what he threw away, but we're looking right here at thousands of dollars.
So we have a clown with a donkey.
The clown with a donkey, the wind-up toy, still works.
Wow.
His fabric clothing is still intact. His little tassel's still there. You just don't see this stuff, Mike.
And so this might be hundreds of dollars on the values of these?
On each.
Wow.
So we're talking thousands and thousands of dollars.
All right, now we have stuff that is not thousands
Well,
and thousands
you know,
of dollars.
I brought these, Mike, because the house this came out of is just full of antiques. Floor to ceiling, there's a pathway to walk through it. And we found these and thought, oh my word, these could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. They're scrimshaw. I mean, this is just one of a kind. And then we turned them over in the reproduction. And you'd think, being in this house, they'd have to be old, but they weren't. And so whoever lived in this house must have liked a little bit of everything.
Of course, I was looking at it and saying illegal.
Yeah, you would think.
Now, this piece here I know is one of your favorites.
It is.
Now, this is just a little tackle box.
It's a plastic bait box that you wear on your belt and you put your worms in it.
So it couldn't be worth
And
much.
so as the kids are cleaning out mom and dad's house, that's dad's old tackle box. They don't even look in it. They just throw it away. But when we opened it, it's full of authentic Civil War belt buckles. And so there's a U.S. belt buckle. This is the real deal, Mike. These, you can't tell I'm excited. But we just don't find this stuff. And this was all out of the same house. It is full of authentic buckles, badges, Civil War era. So we're talking hundreds or thousands of dollars inside the bait box.
Well, and of course, one of the favorites that people just truly do not get is they see these old photo albums, and that means throw it away, right?
You know, Mike, the reason I brought this one, because this is, we're going to call this hidden treasures.
Okay.
You know, you'd open it up and you think, well, it's nothing, it's just old pictures. But as I flip through it, there are Civil War soldiers in uniform. So that one picture could be worth hundreds of dollars.
So as I'm just showing it right here, and so this is a gentleman with his gun getting ready to go. And,
Yeah.
wow.
And so we'll call this one hidden treasures because you wouldn't think it's in there. Who would dream that inside there would be Civil War? And we have 4 Civil War soldiers in this group of photos. One has his gun, and the more you add to a photo, the more valuable it is.
And so these could actually be worth hundreds of dollars in total.
You're holding $1,000. And so it was stuff that would get thrown away.
And so rule number 1.
Don't throw it away.
Matt, as always, thanks for taking time to appear
Thank you.
on this show.
Good to be here.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Tranquility at Fredericktown Assisted Living and Memory Care provides a warm, home-like atmosphere that promotes daily life enrichment. At Tranquility, our medical director is a geriatric physician. Our professionals support and understand the various stages associated with Alzheimer's and dementia. We have on-site physical, occupational, and speech therapists, as well as around-the-clock licensed nurses. For more information, give Tranquility at Fredericktown a call today, because everyone deserves great care. Let us do the caregiving so you and your loved one can embrace life again.
Come on, Dad, let's go! We're gonna be late! Hurry!
Just one more bid on HurleyAuctions.com. If you haven't visited HurleyAuctions.com, you don't know what you're missing. Whether you're buying or selling, antique cars, tractors, boats, or real estate, you can do it all at HurleyAuctions.com.
Get to know Dr. Carrie Hesley at Diagnostic Imaging Services.
What I find most rewarding is caring for women through our Women's Imaging Center. We have a caring staff that will ease patients through an ultrasound, bone densitometry, breast biopsy, or mammogram. Our health team is sensitive to emotions involved in women's imaging and understands that every woman is at risk for breast cancer. Providing the community with a center that is so dedicated to breast health and the imaging needs of women is something special.
DIS Women's Imaging Center, providing women with progressive care.
Welcome to Contemporary Health Scene. Contemporary Health Scene focuses on the health issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Carol Kaeser, Executive Director, Easter Seals of Washington County. Welcome to the show, Carol.
Thank you very much. I enjoy being here.
We love your mission. You know, one of the great challenges in dealing with the aging of the American population is that we have people living significantly longer. We have people with significantly more disabilities late in life, and so the care model has evolved. It used to be hospitals, nursing homes, and the house, but now there's a lot of other things going on. And so tell us a little bit about your adult daycare.
Well, and of course our goal is to help people stay in their homes and in the community. So we are a medical adult daycare. And
now what does that mean?
That means that we do have a nurse on duty at all times, and we can give medications. I think one of the most important things that she does is she maintains communication with primary care physicians and any other physicians that our participants may see, because of course the older we get, the more physicians we see. And
a medically supervised adult daycare means is that they can in fact administer regular medications while you're there. And so we have people say, well, I can't send my loved one because they have to have a shot or they have to have a medication at 11 o'clock and they can't do it, but in fact you can.
Most definitely, and we do it quite a bit.
All right, and then the next thing we hear about adult daycare is well, yeah, but I can't get my loved one there.
Right, and we do provide transportation from curb to our door, and getting there, and of course getting home.
All right, well, let's have Director Greg pull up some pictures here, because first of all, I see that van, and in the back there's a lift.
That's correct. Every single one of our vans have lifts, so we can accommodate folks who are in wheelchairs, and of course we have many people who use walkers and canes.
And so the fact that they are mobility challenged does not mean they can't come.
That's right, not a problem at all. Not a problem.
And we're prepared for it.
Most definitely.
All right, so that person, how does the day typically begin?
Well, when they come to the center, everybody is given the opportunity.
What time are they picked up?
Well, our drivers leave around 8 o'clock,
okay.
So anywhere between 8 and 9:30. They're picked up, and so we hope that everyone is at the center by 10 o'clock, and so everyone can sit down and socialize with coffee, tea, juice, and then we
and it's actually part of the therapy, the transportation. Why is that?
Well, oftentimes people are very isolated at home and don't get out, and so this way they're getting to see their community. If they like, we have some people who say, can you pick me up first so I can, be in the van the whole time? And also, it's a time to socialize.
And it also gives that person a chance to get away from that gatekeeper caregiver, which is not good for either of the relationships.
That's true. I was going to say, and it's good for the caregiver also. Yes.
All right, so they're picked up, and so we arrive, and now we're getting ready to start. Is it one size fits all?
Oh, absolutely not. We are person-centered, which means that we take everyone's individual's needs, desires, wants into consideration, and of course, quality of life is what one of our main goals.
So the people that are interested in particular things can congregate with those people. People who have other interests can congregate with other people.
That's true, yes. And if, for myself, I love to read, so I would want to read. And so we have people who sit in a corner and read for a while and then come out and play a game maybe later.
How far are we away from food? I don't like to get very far away from food.
Well, definitely we're not very far away from food. So we provide lunch, and it's a heart-healthy lunch, and also provide a snack every day.
How about diet issues?
And any special needs we take care of. We can puree foods. If someone needs a special diet, we can handle that. And once a month, we have the lunch bunch. And so we hit a local restaurant, and that is a favorite for everybody.
All right, but I get a little snoozy after lunch.
Well, and so you have some time to snooze, or you can listen to current events, which may help you snooze.
All right, and so how does the day wrap up then?
Well, of course, we have some activity time, then snack, then it is time to go home. And so we get everyone back on the vans and take them back home.
And one of the things that you really help people with, there's some alternative funding sources out there, and you will help people try to find it and never say, I'm not going to do it because I can't pay for it.
Most definitely. Give us a call, and we work very hard trying to find funding so that people can come.
And you have donors that actually provide some scholarships.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Yes.
Carol, what's that phone number?
It is 301-745-3828. We also offer a free trial day. So if someone is interested, they can come in for a tour and then sign up for a free day to see if we fit.
Carol, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on our program.
Thank you.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
The Community Foundation, through its scholarship programs and through its strategic grants, has been a positive influence for change.
Last year, change in Frederick County was influenced thanks to nearly 1,800 caring donors. Everyone can help. Your influence is key.
Help us proactively focus on where we need to be investing our energy in the future.
Albright, Crumbacher, Mal and Idtel are a full-service firm that provides elder care services including managing incoming bills, bill payment, depositing checks, balancing bank statements, and preparing, planning, and filing personal tax returns. Put your mind at ease and call us today.
Welcome to the Making Sense feature on Contemporary Retirement. Making Sense focuses on the financial issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Douglas Fiery. Doug Fiery, Funeral Home. Welcome to the show, Doug.
Thanks, Mike.
Always glad to have you on, and always like to mention the fact that you are an Eagle Scout.
Many years ago.
And what's that Boy Scout motto?
Always be prepared.
And you know, it's actually part of what we do in our law business. It's also what you're trying to do to talk to families about being prepared.
Yeah.
And yet, interestingly enough, we see people across the board, whether it be finance, whether it be legal, or whether it's trying to plan for end-of-life issues, they're not prepared.
They really aren't, and it's one of those things where, and I understand that people don't really want to talk about death and the possibility of that happening to them, but it is something that, like we said, it's going to happen. So be prepared, save the grief of your children having to go through these sort of things, and just maybe be a little more educated.
And you have to pay attention to this stuff. I had a couple in my office yesterday, and they have no children. And if they don't get this done themselves, it's going to be a non-family member who has to really step to the plate to get something done, including perhaps even advancing the cost for a funeral, which just makes absolutely no sense.
Absolutely. Their wishes probably won't even be taken care of. The poor person who maybe was left with those decisions has to make all, do they want to be cremated? Do they want to, have a traditional burial? Do they have cemetery lots? I mean, just all the questions that pop up, they're not going to have a clue. And really, has even that husband and wife had that discussion where they know what each other wants?
And then, of course, we have a lot of people that are, World War II veterans nearing the end of life, Korean War veterans nearing the end of life, and, those people have a lot of very specific thoughts about wanting to recognize their military experience.
Right. And one of the most simple things in that is just being able to locate the information to be able to have, for example, a military honors at the cemetery, finding that DD-214. They say, oh, I think I know where it is, but it's in this drawer, it's in that filing cabinet, or it's in the lockbox at the bank, but when pressure comes, it's hard to find that stuff.
Well, the DD-214 is what establishes the veterans benefits that are available to you, and we tell our clients every day, there was a fire in St. Louis in the 80s, and many people have the only copy in existence, and it needs to be in a safe deposit box.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, the veteran or the gentleman or a woman who might have been in the service might know where that is, but my gracious, when it comes to a couple days of getting ready to plan for a funeral, if you haven't prearranged, it puts the pressure on digging through the whole house trying to find that sort of thing.
Well, and then once again, we have a society that's very mobile. We also have a lot of younger folks that are just not focused on these questions at all, and so it really leaves it to chance as to whether it's going to be handled appropriately.
Right. As in anything, what we said earlier in the segment here, be prepared. Really, to sit down and actually make pre-arrangements and get some information down and things, we can probably do it in an hour. And it's amazing how much better people feel after they've really done that, and they say, that really wasn't so bad, and I'm really glad I took care of it.
Now, of course, you don't make people prepay, but going back to that example where I had this couple that had no immediate family and they had plenty of resources, I encouraged them to prepay, just simply to not put any stress on family members or, you know, friends who are not really as close as a son or a daughter might be.
Right, and it's another component in that pre-arrangement to kind of get those things done. And again, it takes the burden off, it locks those costs in, and can really protect them. And it's a good thing. It's one of those things where we sit down individually with each family and look at their situation. Like you said, not everybody has to prepay, but in some cases it's certainly very beneficial.
Well, and part of it is too, is people sometimes say, well, yeah, but I don't know that I'm going to stay here. But actually, your firm works with other mortuary firms, so you can move it or do whatever you need to do.
Right, you can move it anywhere you want to. Just, you know, it's a matter of that's a very movable piece of documentation that can take care of that.
And of course, we see the same thing. We see an awful lot of people moving to Florida, but most of those people don't necessarily want to be buried in Florida, and so you have this transitional anyway.
Right, and a lot of people think that might be difficult, but really, like you said, a lot of people do move to Florida, so it's very easy for us to coordinate with another funeral home in Florida and bring the person back to their hometown. No problem.
And one of the things I encounter routinely, in fact, I had this happen recently, so I'm going to go to a standalone cemetery and make these funeral arrangements. That's not where you go to make funeral arrangements.
That is so true. You know, I think a lot of folks will say to their children especially, you know, oh, I've got everything taken care of, everything's good. But in all reality, they maybe purchased their cemetery lot, or paid for a grave opening or a marker or anything, and in their mind are thinking everything's taken care of. But in all reality, the hardest part of all hasn't been dealt with yet.
And that's services and you know, how you want it to be handled.
Right.
And you know there was sort of a standardized 30, 40 years ago. Today they're all different.
Oh, very different. You know, and we kind of like that. We like the idea that it's very to that person, very personalized. But it also takes the work to be able to make that happen and be able to express those things. So we like to sit down and talk with people.
Doug, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on the program.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you from Contemporary Retirement.
Remember a more carefree time? Leave your insurance worries to us, Wright Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
These days, it seems like everything's online, and filling out claim forms and receiving and paying bills online isn't always easiest. That's why we at Quality First Insurance encourage you to just give us a call. Let us help.
Hi there, I'm Paul Sweeney with Quality First Insurance, and it's still just as simple. Our offices are open every weekday where you'll be able to call and speak to real, live people.
No detail was missed. I'm so glad that I turned to Quality First Insurance.
I've recommended Quality First Insurance to my friends who've been just as satisfied.
If you're not happy with what you're paying for Medigap, or more importantly, not happy with your service, give us a try. We're locally owned, and we take the time to provide you with the best. We are Quality First Insurance, and our mission is to provide quality products to quality people. Pick up the phone and give us a call today at 800-745-1411.